afternoon again for this next trip or leg of our trip around the world using Straightway. Straightway is a navigation app I wrote myself, and I tweaked it a little bit so it can be used as a backup system for VFR in a real airplane. So we're demonstrating that today using a Microsoft Flight Simulator. Where are we? Hold on a second. We're at Karachi airport. I'll show you on the map. There we are. So that was the end of our last leg. We came from Dubai. We flew in from Dubai, and today we're continuing our trip to the east. So what we're gonna do is first our destination, and we're typically doing 400-500 nautical miles per leg. The Cessna is capable of more, but we're just for the sake of keeping the videos short, we limit the distance. And so today we're going to fly to Mumbai, big airport. And all we need to do, the rest we can do in the air. All we need to do is set our target approximately on the airport. It doesn't have to be that secured like so. And then you see on the bottom corner 472 nautical miles. Back to our current position. And that's all for programming Straightway so far, for the time being. And let's head over to our cockpit. Just another view. It's 33 degrees and it's hazy, which is very typical for Karachi. It's at the ocean, so there's always this haze. Okay, let's start up the citation. I'm just gonna check our fuel. We're always, as a standard, we're flying full fuel, so that way we don't have to worry with about the weight imbalances. And our fuel, if our fuel is going to be enough during the flight. Okay, batteries switch on. We've got our parking brakes. Do a full switch on. And right away we'll do the set the avionics. And already put on our standby emergency lights. We're not following the real checklist of a citation because that's not the purpose, but anyway, we're gonna start up our engines. Very easy. Our beacon on, and yeah, let's go for the left engine. Let's wait till it's up to speed. Yeah, we're at 20, so we can start. Click our little button here. Gonna put our nav lights. Cabin lights. So we're at the ramp here, at the gate. There reserve the gate for our little Cessna. And start up the right engine. Apparently it's not even necessary to wait till, because it's FATIC, it's full authority control, digital engine control, FATIC, so you can just click on run. And now the engines are starting up. Just checking if everything is okay. Looks good. Let it stabilize. And we're off to taxi. So where we're gonna taxi is let's check the weather first. So we are at the Jinnah International Airport. That's the name of Karachi Airport, and the barometer is 1010 hectopascals, so I'm gonna put it in there. The wind is gonna be 11 knots, so that's substantial from 260, so we'll need to take runway 25. Well, we'll take left, so that's if you zoom out, there are 2 runways, so we'll take this one. So how are we gonna taxi? We just put in these little markers so we don't lose our way. You don't have to make a route of it, but just that you, so you know where to go. And this will be where we need to turn off for our threshold. And for the rest, that's all we need to know. Just watch a straightway leading us to our taxi destination. Now in these demonstrations we make abstraction of ATC, we also make abstraction of any airspaces, and so we can go wherever we want, and we fly VFR also above 18,000 feet, so that's a limit on the realism of the demos, but as said, the idea is to show how straightway works. Just gonna put on the our cruising altitude, which will be as usual 41,000. We're flying to the east. That's the best cruising altitude for the citation, pretty high. Like so, and why not already arm the autopilot, set the flight level change speed, so set it to 230, also pretty much standard in the citation. And arm our heading mode. So all we need to do is activate the autopilot once we're airborne. Okay, I think we're ready. Taxi lights. Taxi, and I'll throw in our logo. Not that there is much of. I'm gonna turn to the left, or do we turn to the right? I think to the right is a safer bet. let's go. Parking brakes released. Watch straightaway. So you can see perfectly where are we going. Yeah, that's our yellow line. And we're already almost there. That's often the best way to and you have to take a turn to the right. So this is how you would do it. Of course, the ATC would give you the names of the taxiways, which are in straightaway, available in straightaway as well. And this is a bit. Where are we? Yeah, we have to take the one to the right. There we are. So we're on our way to the threshold. And this is where we need to turn to the left to get to our hold short point. And that would be this one. There's no runway threshold, apparently. Did you see one? So it's not simulated in, well, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's park here. So just to show you, if you zoom in, there's the names of the taxiways. Echo, and we came in from November. No. Mike. We followed Mike, and then we went up to Echo all the way to Hotel. So Hotel short of runway, of runway 25 left, holding short. So here we would, of course, normally request our clearance. I'm gonna pre-flight the aircraft. Let's start with the landing lights and our strobe on. Our pitot heat, and then we'll make sure our trim is set correctly. That's a bit. Let's keep it in the middle, and then our flaps to 15. Pre-flight check terminated, complete. No radios, no squawk code. So we're ready to roll. What we're gonna do is, of course, set our. We'll line up, and then we'll set our bearing. Sorry, our heading to the runway heading. Runway 25 left. And we'll just make one last stop and set our. Just click here on the this, and now our heading bugs. Okay, so it's set to ready to for takeoff, and we'll rotate at 110 brakes release and full power. We got 110. Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. And flaps up. I'm gonna activate the autopilot. There we are. So we are on autopilot. Just a few. That's Karachi. This is the 25 left where we took off from, which is disappearing in the haze. And that's us taking off from Karachi on our way to Mumbai. Speaking of which, so our target is, so this is where we are now, and that arrow is our direction of movement. So we need to, if you go to the navigation screen, Mumbai is to our left, so we need to turn approximately, how much is that? 120 degrees to the left. And we're always doing that visually, so we change the bug visually to where the yellow arrow is, like so. And so now we're turning. It's clearing a bit. That must be Karachi Bay. If that's at all a name. There's a soccer stadium, huge one. Which one is that? Let's have a look. There should be a soccer stadium right here. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, it's a hockey. It's a hockey stadium, and it's military. So if it's red striped in straightway, it's a military domain. So the stadium is part of the military. Nice facilities. Okay, what is our turn? Well, we're approximately good. So we turned a bit too much. We need to turn a correct 8 degrees to the right. So I'm gonna put in 8 degrees here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that no. Put some 5 more. Turning. Okay. One degree difference, so 1 to the right, and that should put us right on track for Mumbai. And as you can see, so we have one waypoint now. It's just a temporary, a provisionary point in the center on the runway in Mumbai, just to get an idea of the distance. But once we are at cruise altitude, we'll put in our proper approach procedure, which is always, it's going to be very simple. It's VFR. Is there anything sightseeing here to see? If you change to the topographic map, then the names are also in English. In the cultural map, it's in the local language. But here, a lot of names are also translated. So if I change to the other map, the cultural map, and you'll see there's no more English, it's just a local language. Cultural map means anything human-made. Focuses on anything human-made, whereas the topographic map is, of course, anything nature-made, and there it's in English. So we're gonna fly now over this area, which is unpopulated. Doesn't look, rather unbuilt. Not much construction, probably perhaps a national reserve. And we're over to Mumbai, and we'll be hugging the coastline, more or less. So this is our flight of today. We're leaving the mountainous areas of Pakistan. This is Iran behind, and we're heading for the west coast of India for Mumbai. And we'll be crossing this huge gulf, which is the Gulf of Kambat. The Gulf of Kambat. And you can, using the rose, the compass rose, you can see, because the diameter of the compass rose is displayed on the bottom right corner, you can see approximately how wide it is. So that's 80 nautical miles wide here, just to give you an idea. We won't be leaving the continental shelf. You can see where the ocean floor drops off, where the actual ocean starts. This is still part of the continent of Eurasian continent, if you want. And this is us over Pakistan. Are we still in Pakistan? Yes, we are. You can see the these are the borders of the national waters, which border national waters of Pakistan, border the national waters of India, right here. So we're still in Pakistani airspace. Normally we would be talking to ATC, of course, but not in these straightaway demonstrations. We are always flying real weather and in real time, so we don't cut out any parts of the video, so you get that's to keep the realism as high as possible. It's April 18th today. It's been a while since we arrived here in Karachi. Now we're on our way to new pastures. 2,000 feet, I should have gonna change to standard barometer. At least I'm gonna do that to keep the realism high. And then also our landing lights, like so. And now we'll be entering the cruising part of the flight. Our belly camera. Interesting topography. Those rivers are here. Straightway, there's also perhaps I never mentioned it, but there's also an overlay for shipping. So if you oh, it's activated. Yeah, if that information is available, it'll show like these this Magenta line. Oh, that's the border. Yeah. I'm deactivate the shipping information because we're flying. We're not. It doesn't make much difference. Again, so these maps, it's like Wikipedia. So local people put in all that information, and if they don't put in shipping information where the shipping lanes are, yeah, that's too bad. If you will be crossing here. So how far is this from our current position? Just watch the left corner, the bottom. I'm gonna change. You got the flag and you got your target and your current position. So click on the current position. Now the distances to the crosshairs are to the current position as well as the bearing. So I move the crosshairs, and so I put it here where we're gonna cross. You can see that we are 71 nautical miles from the border with India. There we go. Quite dramatic. So that's this river feature. Which is unnamed. Straightway. There's no name, or is there? Oh, that's the Indus River. That's not just a feature, it's the bloody Indus River. There it is. Very important river in India. It's eponymous. How you call it? The origin of the name of India is it's named after this river, the Indus. Wow. How could it be? Just checking I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is the Indus. And now you understand why Alexander the Great, that was the start of India if you're coming from the east. From the west, sorry. That was the official start of India. So the whole of India is named after the Indus River for that reason. So it snakes its way up to the north east. With our camera, we can track it all the way. And just where we're reaching our altitude, make sure we're not overspeeding. So I'm reducing the power a little bit. capturing our altitude. Okay, where were we? Yeah, the Indus River. That's really dramatic if you see how the mountains suddenly start popping up from the plain. So that must be behind us. If you can you still see them? Yeah, they're behind the clouds. Those mountains. So they must be right behind us there. And that's the Indus River. Where it flows into the Indian Ocean. And there is this gully in the ocean floor that probably has something to do with, I'm just guessing, with the outflow of, that was eroded over eons. So we're very much in India. No, not administrative India, but in topographic India. We crossed the border here. So interestingly, the Indus River is now in Karachi. It's not even India anymore. So the river after which India was named is no longer on Indian territory. That's weird. So it skirts the border here, and this is all Pakistan. And it goes up to Rawalpindi and Islamabad. So it springs in Islamabad. Which is near the Indian border. Okay. So for our sorry about this, we're still in kilometers. So I'm gonna change that, just click on here. And now it's in nautical miles. It's an hour fly time. Yeah, sorry about I used because it's on my actual on a real phone, and I used it yesterday for cycling straightway, and today I use it for flying from Karachi to Mumbai. But I forgot to switch to from kilometers to nautical miles. I'm doing this from Europe. So, now we're set to nautical miles. It doesn't really matter, but for aviation people, that's important, of course. And we're nearing up to our overspeed limit. Gotta reduce a bit. There's no auto throttle in the citation. So, let's check on the weather in Mumbai. We'll do that using the same app we used for Karachi. So just go in. It's called, the app is called Meteor Life, I think. Meteor. Mumbai. Mumbai University, that's not. security check. Metar TAF is the app called. Navi Mumbai International Airport, that's probably our destination. Doesn't really, oh, it's IFR. That's interesting. Haha. Big challenge. So, that's a bit the deal. Even if it's IFR, we're still gonna try and use straightway to land, which would be totally illegal in the real world. But it's just a nice way to show the capabilities of a straightway. And you have to be a bit more meticulous about so the last part of your approach, when you're on final, we're going to do that using our descent using the autopilot, so that's so that we keep our descent rate constant as indicated or suggested by straightway. So that's the step up we're going to do from a normal VFR approach using straightway. You'll see that. Well, interesting. So, see full METAR. No. There we are. So we have the full METAR from Mumbai. And we've got 9 knots. And we're suggested for runway 26. Already gonna put in the barometer. It's 1008, so put it in standby. You can do that in the citation. Still on standard barometer, but now we armed, assuming it's not going to change. But 36, so 9. We'll be landing runway 26. So let's have a look at how that shows in straightway. Make sure your map is on the cultural map. That's best for identifying runways. So we have the airport here. Wind's coming from a 270 from the west, so we're gonna take 27, that's for sure. Now, how are we going to do that? Start with your active threshold, so the threshold over which you're landing, which is here. Put the crosshair as accurate as possible, but it doesn't have to be all that accurate. And put a mark there. You've put in the marker, and you can now go to the other side of the runway thresholds and put in another marker. So now we kind of identify the runway for straightway. You see, got these 2 markers. So now straightway knows the direction of the runway and also the length. But the last thing we need to do is make a little route out of it. You can make only one route in straightway. It's saved automatically in your memory, but there's only one, so you don't have to name it. And if you want to have another route, you need to delete the existing one, or you can amend the existing route. So we're gonna turn that into a route so that we can use it for navigation. How do we do that? Start with the active thresholds. Select it again. Just you select it by clicking. Yeah, put it outside of the compass rose and then click in the vicinity, and then straight centers. Now it's selected, and you see the button at halfway the screen on the right side with the little plus and the marker. Just click on it, and now that marker has become the first waypoint of our route. And the second waypoint should be no, it's the other way around. It's the And now we have the so our first one is this, but it should be the other way around. So the active threshold, yeah, it's a bit complicated. The active threshold should be the last waypoint. So now it's number 1, and this is number 2. So if you go to number 2, same, and you can reverse that. You can reverse the direction of the route by clicking on this this arrow. So I clicked on it, and now it should be reversed. Now this is number 2, and this is number 1, which is the way it should be. Number 2, the last waypoint, should be your active waypoint. And that's very important if you want to use straightway for VFR. Okay. And then the other dimension, the elevation, we should also enter that into straightway. And to do that, we need to go to the topographic map, like so, and go back to our runway. So we got another map now, but this one has elevation lines. You see them running here? And here's one. I suspect it's gonna be close to sea level. Ah, there is one. 10. That's 10 meters. And that's good enough because it's flat. It's probably, oh, here you one close to the runway. It's 10 meters. That gives you a very good ballpark of the elevation of the runway. So you can derive that information from straightway as well. But how are you going to use it? Just go to the navigation screen. So make sure your this is the inactive threshold and this is the active threshold. So it has to be on the active threshold, so on the last waypoint of the route. And this has to be activated, which is your CDI needle, your deviation indicator. So that has to be activated, and the third thing that needs to be activated is the reversal of the course. So see that? You click on the 89 and now the course is reversed. And once you've fulfilled those 3 conditions are fulfilled, the little airplane has appeared. You see the little airplane? Click on it, and that's where we can enter the 10 meters, but it's already set to 10 meters coincidentally. That's a coincidence from a previous flight. It was also 10 meters, so it's but that's meters. You put in your pattern altitude in feet. Keep the standard 1500, and then click on the that's important, on the orange square, because that calculates everything. And now you see the runway length is 11,296 feet. It's largely enough, ample space for the citation. And if we go back now to our, it has changed, because now there is a top of descent that has appeared. 153 nautical miles, 152 nautical miles. So that's when we need to start descending. And you see our current altitude on the left, and then the number that doesn't change, the 1532, is our pattern altitude. Once we arrive at the pattern, remember we are flying VFR, so we'll be doing, in this case, so the magenta arrow is the direction of the runway, the orientation of the runway. We're landing it in direction 269. So what kind of pattern will we be doing? There are no mountains in Mumbai, so we don't have to watch out for that we hit a mountain or something. So we can do a simple pattern, which is a right base pattern. Hope that makes sense. And within 45 minutes, approximately, that we'll start our descent in, it doesn't say what time it is the ETE to top of descent. It expresses it in nautical miles. I'm not going to keep it that way, otherwise nautical miles is more or less ambiguous, less equivocal. That's a nice word. There we are. Weather looks fine still. They give us IFR. So it's gonna be a real challenge. In the meantime, we've drifted 4 degrees to the left. So what we're gonna do is go to our cockpit and add 4 degrees to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. Now we're turning a bit to the right. And you see we're slowly coming up to 137. One more. 136. Oh, that's really gonna be a challenge, the IFR. Yeah. Bring a straightway to its limits. Let's see what it's worth. Now, the idea, if you use it in a real plane, is that you can. Well, it's also good, very good for spatial orientation. If you got your in-flight system, like in the citation, normally that information will be showing here, which we are not using at all today, and sometimes it can be a bit disorienting. And straightway is always there in a very simple way, one screen and a huge map, in a very detailed map. You can see where you have to end up, which runway in the end. So it's very hard to lose your way if you have straightway, and well, especially in GA, in VFR GA, a cheap aircraft that's not equipped with an in-flight built-in GPS system. Well, straightway is. I would never say it could be your prime navigation system. You will never hear me say that, but it can do a pretty good job. So 42 minutes. Looks everything is stabilized. What I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna take a nap in the back, which is of course entirely illegal, but this is a simulation, so we do just because we can. And I'll catch you back when we start our when we reach our top of descent. So, catch you later. back. That was a nice nap. Top of descent, 20 nautical miles. Since we have a IFR conditions, perhaps it's not a bad idea to look for an alternative airport. And let's see if we have those available. Let's fly down the road and go to from where we are now, so 9 nautical miles, 10 nautical miles, now in Mumbai. This is where we gonna land here, and the other side of town. And this is Navi International Airport, and we are landing at. No, we're gonna go to. Shivaji Moravi. So we'll take the one which is 12 nautical miles further. Is that enough? Perhaps not. Let's go to okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. So put in already our markers, because that's a good runway, winds-wise. Marker here, threshold, and then the other threshold. So it's already ready for our approach, and the elevation is it's 20. So let's make a mental note of that, 20 instead of 10. So we're crossing the water in case of IFR. 6 nautical miles to top of descent. Now, once we've reached our top of descent, that doesn't mean we will start descending right away. It means that from that point onwards, straight away we'll start giving a descent angle, which will be as 2.5, and then it will start increasing as we approach our target, and we'll start descending at typically 3 or 3.5, which is a typical descent angle. And so right now we should be getting there. 2.5. So we're gonna carry on. Put in some correction in the course. 4 degrees to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we start turning a bit to our so the yellow arrow points to the active threshold, so the threshold over which we're gonna land. And the magenta arrow gives the direction of the runway and our CDI from that runway. So our CDI is 118 nautical miles from the center line of the runway. So if you take our line at right angles, 90 degrees to the center line of the runway, it's 116 nautical miles right now. So that's a different metric. Yeah, in the citation we have coffee. for starting to cross that bay, and then the other far side of the bay is Mumbai. Keep an eye on our descent rate, so as soon as we reach 3.5 we'll start descending, and I'm gonna prep the autopilots. First thing we need to do is set our new altitude, our new selected altitude to our pattern altitude, which is 1532, but I don't think so. I'm gonna, perhaps we can fine tune that. So 1532. Can we change that in the altitude? Can we fine tune it? I don't think we can. So it's only with 100 feet. So we'll keep it at 1500. Descent angle 2.9, so we're still waiting for 3.5. So we continue on our way to Mumbai. Before we initiate our descent, perhaps check it's 10.8, but can we have a refresh? Our QNH is oh, there's a tendency of dropping, so let's keep an eye on it. Now this is Navi, and Maharashtra. That's Maharashtra, and we're landing at okay 3.1. First things first, initiate our descent. We're gonna do that by using the vertical speed mode of our autopilot, not the flight level change mode, because straightaway suggests a descent rate, which we'll copy or channel through our vertical speed in the autopilot. Point 2. 3.3. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. 3.3. Why don't we start descending? It doesn't really matter because there are no mountains if you're in a mountainous area. So just click here on the vertical, and now we're gonna put in here our descent rate and 2.3 at 2,300. Straightway says so. We're gonna put in 2,300, and we've initiated our descent. Always take the larger number. I'm reducing my throttle also because there's no auto throttle in the citation. So now we're coasting towards Mumbai. And if you want to see it from the outside, look, we've got a slight descent. You can best see it here, that we're descending. And that's how it should, 3 degrees. 3.4 it's now. There we are. So what we're gonna do is, once we get closer to the airport, if you go to the VFR approach calculator, you'll see on the bottom a little diagram, and that for the given parent altitude, which is or parent altitude AGL, not Amazon, but AGL 1500. The final approach fix, so the point at which you will start descending towards the runway from your parent altitude, is about should be about at a distance of 4.7. We're gonna keep the distance as minimum distance in our CDI. So if we 4.7, you see the 80 nautical miles. So that's the distance to the center line. The cross-track distance, if you want. So we're gonna keep it at least 4.7. So typically at 5, 6, and we'll fly our parent that way. It's gonna be VFR, so IFR, sorry. So that'll be very interesting. Keep checking. Yep, IFR, visibility of 3.5 kilometers, which is in nautical miles. 2 nautical miles. We'll just use the call out of the citation. I think we can change it here. Checking 2,300. We're dropping too fast a little bit. That's better. The citation, I think it's here. The refs menu. So we have our minimums. So minimums, refs menu, and then we just change this here. Like another 320. Now we're gonna do radar. Here. I'm gonna select this so it's we'll have a call out at 300 feet, and that will be our decision height, which officially is not allowed because we're flying VFR, but we'll treat it like some kind of ILS. So we don't have minimum descent altitude. Descent rate is in the autopilot is on the heels of what the straightway suggests, so 2,400. Straightway says 2,338. And as you can see, we're indeed keeping on 3.4 degrees of descent angle. So what we'll do is we'll get the first shout out, which is the default of 500 radio altitude, and then we programmed a second shout out for decision height of at 300 above ground level. And if we don't see the runway by that time, we'll have to do the missed approach and go to the alternate airport. Which is pretty close by. Makes you wonder. No other airports. Seeing if I can find an airport close by that it has no mountains around it. No, so the airports, you can see them at 12, at 11. You can see the airport at 11. If you go one further, you can still see it. As far away as 10 as factor 10, you can still see the airports, and there are not too many, actually. Got one here, but that's pure international airport. That looks like a military airport, but it does say pure international airport, so. Just to have a second alternate airport. Which is at an elevation of... Yeah, it's definitely a military airport, but okay. Elevation is I'm just looking for an elevation line. Oh, that's 390. That's pretty high. $570. Well, so we certainly need to take that here. 580. That's a good. Gonna make a note of that. So 580 is for the military one, and the other one was 20. I assume it's not a military one because it's called International Airport. Pune International Airport. Okay, where are we on our approach to the... our descent rate is too much. 2000 is good, should be okay. We're a bit off to the right, so I'm gonna put in a few corrections. So 7, what is this? 9 degrees to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Gently turning to our threshold. 18,000 feet, I can see it on straightway. That's a GPS altitude, it's not barometric altitude. Barometric gonna change to why does it say 10,000? It should be 8. So already gonna change to a real airport barometer, QNH. And we have a call out at 300, it says here. Don't know to what extent this refreshes. I assume it does. Wind is at 10 knots. I think we've got the coastline of India, Mumbai, that's materializing gradually. Nautical miles from the center line. So as you remember, I think we're going to turn to the left at 7 nautical miles, and then we'll start flying parallel to the center line of the runway on the downwind, the right downwind. So we're doing a pattern in IFR conditions, which of course in the real world wouldn't be allowed. But anyway, so we're assuming that you're in an emergency situation, or your primary instruments have failed on you, and that you have to resort to straightway. That's a bit the idea. You can use a straightway. I mean, if you take an airline flight, go on a holiday, you sit in the as a passenger. Just should be able to do whatever we're doing here. So maps work offline, insofar that you don't need to do anything. So just whatever is shown on your phone is stored automatically into the memory of your phone. So if you go offline, it should all be still there. But it works as pictures, not as vector. So it's each time it's a picture for each level, like we are now at level 13. So that's a tile. It's like a PNG that is saved to your phone's memory. So it's like an old school map, a PNG. So each zoom level, it's another tile also. If you go like this, it's another tile that is loaded. And once you've seen them, they're automatically stored in your phone until you delete straightway from your phone. Then you start from scratch, or you delete the cache memory of straightway. But those are active actions that normally shouldn't happen passively. 1600 descent rate, and we're still doing 2000. That's too much. So 1600. What's your speed? Oh, we're under 10,000 feet. So I'm gonna coast. Our speed was way too high. And put our landing lights on. Try to get to 250. There we are, 250. Yeah, that's pretty hazy. Mumbai is in the mist. That looks IFR. Last check to see if there are any mountains around the airport. Anyway, we'll have a... well, there are. No, they're not. It's all pretty flat. Coming in from the east, and that train is this one here, but we're flying straight, so we're going like this and then like this, so I don't think this could be a problem. And that's 6 nautical miles away from the airport, 9 nautical miles, so we have to turn before that point. But anyway, in the citation we do have let's show you here on the MFT, you'll see the terrain pop up. So that's the security we have. Now it says nothing, but normally that mountain ridge here, when we do our right downwind, and then like so, this mountain ridge will normally pop up as well as this one. But this shouldn't be a problem. We have to watch out for this one, so we shouldn't be flying more than watch the left corner. We shouldn't be flying more than 8 nautical miles away from our threshold on the extended downwind. Exciting. 135, turn a bit to the left. Doesn't really matter. Just keep our stick to our plan. 4,800. We're already close to a flap speed, which is good because we'll extend our first flaps 15 once we're in the pattern. .7. Decrease our descent rate. Give it some more power. So we're a bit shallow, but that's not the approach yet. This is just the approach to the pattern, if you will. And now we're really in the soup. Not yet, but we soon will be, I think. Seven nautical miles, so we're gonna turn to the left and start flying parallel to the center line of the runway on the right downwind. A bit more. Just gently keep it turning. We're all doing this visually, we're not making calculations on magnetic cores or real cores, because Australia uses real.
Altitude.
Okay, we're getting up to our pattern. It's getting bumpy now. Oh, there you see the mountains ahead of us, as expected. Okay. Let's keep an eye on them. No, we don't have much room. So, you see the once we're at right angles, we should be able to see the It's green, so it's safe to fly over. And I'm just going to extend our flaps 50. And yeah, this will be a good time to start turning to the right. Oops, we're over it. Landing gear extended. So, till we at right angles to the center line. Like so. And now we can start turning to the airport and already start descending. We should be descending it.
Altitude.
Overshooting the runway.
Autopilot.
Minimums.
And there is a runway, but that was a bit hairy. We should have gone around. But Okay. Let's get off the runway here. So we are now trying to find ourselves a parking space. Flaps up, and we are exactly at the where we want to be. Now that was a bit hairy. We should have gone around, and it was a mountain thing, so I was not well prepared. I should have taken another route. You can program it in straightaway, which would have avoided those mountains. But anyway, those were real IFR conditions, and in the end, I mean, this is not. I mean, we'd never get a license with a landing like that, but we made it anyway. Where are we? Just off to the airport, to the other side. Yeah, we got off on the wrong. The terminal is over here, so should have taken a right-hand turn. But anyway, we'll try and park here somewhere. It does look military, so we'll turn to the left here. And get off here to the hangar. And this is where we will park. Okay. We made it in one piece to Mumbai airport. It was not the best approach straight away, but we were in IFR conditions, and in the end we winged it a little bit. So that's the debrief. You shouldn't have done that in real life, of course, but it's for the sake of the videos to keep things going. And well, hope you enjoyed it, and see you for the next leg on this trip around the world. Straightway so far, without any crashes. See you next time. Bye bye.